Okay, so you know how everyone's always looking for that one skill that just helps with everything else?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like for me, it's always been problem solving, just figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's at work, if it's just like a personal thing, or just even being curious.
Right.
When you can find a solution, it's like a superpower.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And for this deep dive, we actually read this super interesting article all about how to exercise your brain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like giving yourself mental tools that you can use whenever you need to solve something.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And the goal is to not just tell you what they are, but to help you figure out which ones will actually make a difference and how to actually use them in your life without it being too much.
Yeah, like I don't want to overload my brain trying to make it better.
Exactly.
So, okay, let's start with something that everyone knows, puzzles and brain teasers.
Okay.
So I always thought of crossword puzzles as just like a chill way to start the day.
Yeah.
But this article was saying that they're actually working your vocabulary, your memory, and even your analytical thinking.
That's right. And it's interesting how these really simple things can use so many different skills at once.
Yeah.
Like with a crossword, it's not just remembering a word. It's like understanding the clue, looking for patterns in the letters, and then making connections.
Right.
And all of that is exactly what you need to break down a problem.
Yeah. Okay, so what about Sudoku then?
Oh, Sudoku.
Yeah.
That's great for logic and working with numbers.
Yeah.
That grid makes you test out different things based on what's already there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like what you do when you're coding or even just planning your day.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. And then there's jigsaw puzzles.
I love jigsaw puzzles.
Right. Who hasn't stared at one of those for hours?
Oh my gosh.
Trying to make a piece fit.
Yeah.
Well, the article says those are awesome for spatial intelligence and problem-solving strategies.
Okay.
You're looking at shapes, guessing how they go together, and changing your plan when something doesn't work.
It's like problem solving you can actually see.
Right. Exactly. And, of course, we can't forget the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
That thing can be so addictive.
It really can.
But it's supposed to be amazing for pattern recognition and strategic thinking.
I'm pretty sure the strategic thinking for me is just figuring out if it's easier to actually solve it or just Google the answer.
Hopefully you're going for the solving these days.
I try.
But you're right. All of these puzzles, they're fun, but they also train your brain to approach problems step by step.
Yeah.
And to not give up even when it's hard.
I like that. Okay, so let's move on to something a little more challenging, like chess and strategy games.
Okay.
So chess has always seemed like this super strategic game.
Oh, yeah.
And this article really breaks down why it's so good for problem solving. It makes you think about what your opponent might do, plan several moves ahead, and make decisions under pressure, even if it's just a casual game with a friend.
Exactly. And if you think about it, those skills are super important in real life, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Like when you're making a deal or planning a project or even just trying to avoid traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to see problems coming and having a plan is key.
That's so true. And it's not just chess.
Oh, no, definitely not.
Like checkers makes you think ahead and make logical decisions.
Yes. And Go is like next level strategy. It really makes you think long term.
And what about all those online strategy games?
Oh, yeah, those too.
Like StarCraft or Civilization?
Those are great for planning and adapting to changes, which is a big part of problem solving.
Yeah, it's like those games are practice for real-life problems.
Right. You're always running into roadblocks, and you have to find the best way to get past them.
So it's not just about winning, it's about getting better at thinking.
Exactly. And the cool thing is that the stuff you learn in these games, analyzing the situation, comparing choices, predicting what will happen, you could use that for all sorts of problems.
That's awesome. Okay, now for something that might make some people nervous, math and logic exercises.
Okay.
But don't worry, the article doesn't say you have to be a math whiz.
No, not at all. It's more like a workout for your logic muscles.
Okay, I can handle that.
Yeah. So think of it as getting better at using information and finding the best solutions.
Okay.
Like mental math challenges, they help you think quickly with numbers, which is helpful for everyday stuff like figuring out prices or tips.
Yeah, that's actually really useful.
And then logic puzzles, like the grid ones, are great for deductive reasoning.
Oh yeah, those are fun.
You get clues, and then you have to rule things out until you find the answer.
I always feel so smart when I solve one of those.
Me too.
Yeah.
And the article also talks about brain teasers. Those are supposed to help you think outside the box and come up with new ideas.
So you're training your brain to look past the easy answers.
Exactly.
Huh.
All of these exercises help you see patterns, spot mistakes, and approach problems in a structured, logical way.
Okay.
And that's what you need to be good at problem solving no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of thinking differently, the next thing the article talks about is lateral thinking challenges. It sounds like it's all about turning things upside down and looking at problems from totally weird angles.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
The article talks about a few cool techniques.
Okay, like what?
One is called reverse thinking, where you pretend the problem is already solved and then figure out how you got there.
Whoa.
It can help you question the things you assume are true.
That's trippy.
And then there are what-if scenarios.
Okay.
They help you be more creative by making you imagine different things that could happen and how you deal with them.
That sounds kind of fun.
It is. And of course, riddles and lateral thinking questions are made to make you think outside the box and break free from the usual ways of seeing things.
I really like the what-if thing.
Yeah?
It's like you can play around with ideas in your head without anything bad happening.
Exactly.
It feels like a good way to be more creative and maybe find solutions you wouldn't have thought of before.
And when you finally solve a tricky riddle.
Oh, man, that feels so good.
It does, right?
It's like a little victory.
It is. And the main thing to remember about lateral thinking is that it helps you get unstuck. When you're stuck, it's usually because you're looking at things from the same old angle.
Mm-hmm.
Lateral thinking gives you tools to change your perspective and see things in a new way. And that can help you find solutions you didn't see before.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so let's move on to some ways to organize your thoughts. Mind mapping and visualization.
Okay.
I've heard of mind mapping, but the article explained it really well.
Oh, good.
You start with the problem in the middle, then you branch out with ideas for solutions or related things, and you keep going until you find a clear path to a solution.
It's like making a map of your thoughts.
Yeah, it is. It seems really useful for seeing how different parts of a problem connect.
It is. It helps you see the big picture. By showing the problem and the ways to fix it, you can often see connections you wouldn't have noticed before.
Okay.
And then visualization takes it a step further.
Oh.
You practice solutions in your mind before you actually do them.
Oh, wow.
So you can spot problems and adjust your plan before you even start.
Yeah. So it's not just coming up with ideas. It's like getting ready for how they might work in real life.
Exactly. It helps you go from ideas to actual plans, both on paper and in your head.
That's really smart. Okay, the next one the article talks about is memory training exercises.
Okay.
Now, you might be thinking, what does memory have to do with solving problems?
Yeah.
But the article says it's all about being able to quickly remember information, which is super important when you're trying to find a solution.
That's so true. You can't solve a problem if you can't remember the stuff that might help.
Right.
The article mentions some really good memory tricks.
Like what?
Well, there are mnemonic techniques where you use connections to help you remember stuff.
Okay.
Like ROI-GBEV for the colors of the rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
Those memory shortcuts help you store and find information faster, which is key when you need to remember facts quickly to solve a problem.
Okay. What else?
There's the storytelling method, where you turn facts into a story to make them more interesting and easier to remember.
Oh, that's cool. And what about memory palaces?
Oh, those are really neat. You imagine a place you know really well, and then you put information in different spots.
So like putting ideas in different rooms of my house.
Exactly. It's a powerful way to organize and find information later.
I've always wanted to try that. It sounds like having a mental filing system.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
And being able to access information quickly would be a huge advantage when you're trying to solve a problem.
Totally. Okay, so with all the technology we have today, it's not a surprise that the article also talks about brain training apps.
Yeah.
There are so many out there, and the article mentions a few popular ones.
Which ones?
Like Lumosity, which focuses on memory attention and being flexible in your thinking.
Yeah.
And Elevate, which is all about analytical and math skills. And then Cognifit, which has exercises based on science to make your brain better.
Those apps are a super convenient and usually pretty fun way to train your brain every day.
I like that they're easy to use.
What's really helpful is that they often have exercises that target specific brain functions that are super important for problem solving.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's like having a personal brain workout right on your phone.
And you can do it anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can do a few minutes while you're waiting for your coffee or on the bus.
It's like sneaking in a little brain workout.
Exactly. And a lot of them track your progress so you can see how you're doing and what you need to work on.
That's helpful. Okay, so shifting gears a bit, the article also talks about reading and critical thinking.
Okay.
This might seem obvious, but the examples they give are really interesting.
Like what?
Like reading mystery novels, it makes you solve the mystery along with the detective.
Oh, yeah.
You're trying to put the clues together and figure it out before they do.
That's a good one. It makes you really think about what you're reading.
Yeah, you can't just skim it. You have to understand the information,
Yeah.
see the patterns, and come to your own conclusions.
And what about opinion pieces?
Oh, those are good for making you think critically. You have to understand the arguments and decide what you think.
Right. And even just writing summaries where you take a lot of information and make it shorter, that's really good for understanding and analyzing.
I've definitely noticed that when I try to summarize something, I have to really understand it. I can't just read it quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And being able to analyze information, see different sides of things, and put together complex ideas is super important for solving problems in any part of life.
Okay, so for something that might seem a little out of place in a conversation about brain exercises, the article talks about meditation and mindfulness.
Interesting.
But when you think about it, having a calm and focused mind will definitely make you better at solving problems.
That's the connection. Meditation and mindfulness help you relax, which lets your brain think more clearly. They also help you focus so you can analyze problems without getting distracted. And, maybe most importantly, they help you look at things from different angles without judging them right away.
So it's like you're making a space in your mind where you can think about problems more clearly and without all the stress.
Exactly. It's like getting your brain in the best shape to solve problems.
That makes a lot of sense, especially for those really tough situations. Okay, last but not least, the article talks about trying new things.
Oh, yeah.
It might not seem like a brain exercise, but it's super important for being flexible in your thinking.
I agree.
The idea is that new experiences create new connections in your brain and make it better at adapting and learning.
Like learning a new language.
Yes, that's a great one.
Well,
it makes your brain work in so many ways and helps with problem solving.
And playing a musical instrument that helps with recognizing patterns and with memory.
And traveling to new places.
That's a good one.
It shows you different cultures and ways of thinking, which gives you more tools to solve problems with.
It's like the more you experience, the more you have to draw on when you face a challenge.
Right. It's all about pushing yourself and giving your brain new and interesting things to do.
Exactly. When you try new things, your brain has to adapt, learn, and make new connections. This flexibility is really important for problem solving.
So to wrap it up, it seems like the main thing we learned from this article is that doing all these different brain exercises, puzzles, games, reading mindfulness, and trying new things can really make you a better problem solver.
Absolutely. And the great thing is, there's so many options. There's probably something on this list that you'll enjoy and that fits into your life.
Yeah.
You don't have to become a chess master or logic puzzle whiz to see benefits.
Yeah, it's good to know.
Even doing a few of these things regularly can make a difference over time.
That's encouraging. So as you go through your week, think about this. How could you try one or two of these exercises to change the way you approach problems and make decisions? What new ideas or perspectives could you find just by giving your brain a little workout? It's worth a shot. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.